we go. There we go.
Hello. Hi, Wesley. How are you?
Hello, Josh. I'm well.
Oh, a pleasure to have your company here. So I was just saying to Keith, so great to be able to speak to you both about such an exciting project that you're working on. And I know you guys first came together on Demolition Man, but I'm curious if maybe you could both talk a little bit about what led you to teaming up with Adam for this really awesome sounding comic book, The Exiled.
What I really liked when I first met Adam, I mean, Keith, is he was a hyphenate. Not only was he creative, he could write, and he had worked in production, but he also was very technical, and he liked the forward-thinking, futuristic vision of what technology could do for the arts, and with the creatives. And I really, really dug that. You know, it's not a lot of people out there who can talk art and culture and comic books and technology, Web3, and all of these kinds of futuristic subjects. I really enjoyed that. And he was good at what he does. And he knew Stevie Wonder. So he was my man. I was like, Stevie likes you. You cool with me, buddy.
And Wesley and I had crossed paths over the years. When I first got in the game industry, I was working at Virgin Interactive, and our first game that we were doing was Demolition Man, and we were shooting all this additional footage at the same time with the film to go into the video game. And that was where we just kind of crossed paths during that first time. And then years later, Wesley was doing a book with Antoine Fuqua at Radical called After Dark, and I was working on what was the first stages of this with Adam Lawson. And Adam is an amazing writer and producer and showrunner. And so when Wesley and I reconnected a few years ago for some new projects, we started talking about all these things to collaborate on, and we kind of teased out a couple ideas that were there, and people were like, what are you guys working on? And then we decided that, you know, our independent spirit was going to come together like this through this Kickstarter, and that was where The Exiled came together. And it's been just the three of us working together is just like fireworks. It's been amazing.
That's awesome. And of course, Keith, we were talking about what a huge hit The Exiled has been on Kickstarter. And what does it mean to you to obviously a legend like Wesley Snipes and an icon in the film industry in particular to have his input into a story like this and to have him helping you obviously spread the word about a project you and Adam were obviously very passionate about?
You can tell the truth this time, Keith. It's okay.
What's amazing about it is that at our heart, we're all storytellers, right? We all love characters and stories and be able to play in this space that's so immersive. And the background that the three of us have in just production and making this has been fantastic. The added bonus to this is that with Wes's background and his fans and his experience combined with our sort of knowledge of Kickstarter and the gaming world, we've been able to bring all three of our communities together and get the word out without having to go through traditional marketing. And even the way we're able to meet with you today, you know, this is us being able to directly connect with our audience without having to go through a media machine. And that's been really rewarding because it allows us to have more of an unfiltered, raw, creative experience and getting our ideas out and letting the audience in real time really let us know what they like and incorporate that into our campaign.
Awesome. Of course, Wesley, you have become synonymous with that Blade franchise, which is a huge Marvel Comics property. But when it came to returning to the world of comic books for The Exiled, what was it about this project and specifically the character of Roach that made you want to dive back into that sometimes crazy world of comic books?
Oh, I love this character and the world that's been set up. It's I love a good murder mystery. And this is definitely a good murder mystery with some sci-fi, with a little bit of flavor of Blade Runner and a little flavor of Seven. Two of my most, well, definitely the top 20 films of all time, my favorites. So yeah, it made a lot of sense, you know, to come back to that kind of world, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. And Roach, he seems like such an interesting character. I can tell there's a lot to him. And I'm guessing you were both obviously heavily involved in crafting the character. But What was it like to throw him, this detective, into this, as you said, this almost Blade Runner 7-esque sort of world of murder and conspiracies?
It's interesting because he's really this hard-boiled detective, right, who no one believes because of his conspiracy theories, and he's chasing this serial killer who's got this very dark agenda. He's brutally killing people, ripping their spines out, and it seems like some graphic, terrible serial killer, but he's using tools that are like 5,000 years old, and there's all these conspiracies that are sort of surrounding this. And Roach is a survivor. This is a character who has endured everything in his personal life and his professional life, and no one believes him, and yet he knows there's something wrong here. And so this character keeps digging deeper and deeper into the truth, and when we finally reveal what this is, it flips the entire story on its edge. So this Kickstarter campaign, where we're following Roach on this pursuit of this serial killer, is that first layer of this onion that's going to reveal Earth's darkest secret, which is great for us. And we love this because it allows us to develop his character throughout this series, and we're following Roach from his perspective. So we know there's something wrong, but we don't know what. So we don't have the benefit of knowing what's behind the next corner. And it makes it a great experience for us to write that, and great for the audience to kind of go on that journey.
Yeah, and who doesn't love a good murder mystery?
And was it important for you, Wesley, that you got to have some input into the character and to help make him? I know you've talked in other interviews about obviously growing up in the Bronx and knowing that area and bringing that to the table, but was it important that you could bring some authenticity to him and your own experience?
It's kind of like organic to the process. When we decided that we would team up, we all knew that each one would be contributing and expected that. So yeah, it's natural to contribute it in this way. Not the first time that I've done it. We've done that with some really interesting projects, and almost did it with the Black Panther too. We had it for a while, but anyway, technology wasn't there, so that's why. But yeah, it's a good process. And especially to bring the Bronx to the world of comics. I don't really know of very many storylines that have featured the Bronx or referenced the Bronx as a setting. So I got to represent, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And I feel
everybody wants to rep LA. I got to rep the Bronx. Move down.
And what's interesting is that what I love about working with Wesley on this is that it's character and its story and its world, and it's detailed because Roach's character through these three main acts of the story goes deeper into this mystery of what's happening, and that really not only evolves his character but physically changes him too. And what I was so impressed with was that Wesley was not only just looking at his character and how he's evolving and how he's relating to the other characters and the serial killer and what's happening, but also just who his character is physically, and that turned into his weapons and how his weapons evolve, how his outfits change, how his relationships reflect on that. And that was amazing because his level of experience as a performer for these years and his film and writing and producing experience really reflected that. So to do that in a comic book was phenomenal because we were all able to riff on these really great creative ideas.
That's awesome. And as we said, Kickstarter is such a great platform to launch this on. And you guys are offering some really awesome incentives, like that statue in particular. It's so badass. So it must have been a lot of fun for you guys to sit down and come up with some of those ideas as well.
Yeah, and that's the idea. Is we want people to be able to get something they can only get, through this.
Yeah, absolute joy. Very fun. Very fun. It's
fun
they're getting to see it growing. I understand the joy that farmers have with working in the land and working in the soil in the dirt. To see their plants grow is a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing.
And a lot of people don't know Kickstarter still, even though everyone knows what Kickstarter is. We're surprised that there's so many people who understand about it but haven't actually backed a campaign before. So we really created this sort of very independently, in a sense that it was designed for season collectors who want to get this version of the book and all the statue and everything else that they're not going to be able to find later, but also for first time backers who have never been this, Wesley's fans who know Adam and my work from, video games and other elements. And that was really encouraging because the campaign funded within the first hour, and you could see the backers come in. But then as the campaign's been growing, and where we're leading to in a few weeks in San Diego at CalmaCon, now we're getting out to this fan base that loves these worlds, that loves these characters and types of stories, but aren't familiar with backing a crowdfunded campaign. So we wanted to do something that was sort of open for everyone. And that's why this campaign has been so unique for us, because obviously we could have just self-financed something, gone to a studio, done it the traditional route that most creators would go, but we really felt that our independent spirit needed to be reflected on how we were going to get this out to the fans, let the fans let us know what they want. And now we're revealing this new publishing relationship with Whatnot, and they very much have the same independent spirit and what they've done with their platform. So for us to be, on their platform, one of the first 5 titles to launch with Whatnot was like a perfect marriage for all of us.
Absolutely. And Wesley, you mentioned obviously trying to develop a Black Panther project there once upon a time, but when you look at something like The Exiled, are you thinking to the future of maybe taking this to film and television, or are you focused more on the comic side of storytelling at the moment, would you say?
We'd like to have a very strong story now, but I know it's almost unavoidable that I don't think about doing action, putting this in motion and having the characters in motion. And there's so many different mediums that we could do that, even some that you can see and some that you can't see, but maybe you can hear. I love that opportunity. I love the potential for that. And thanks to the fans for supporting, but yeah. Oh yeah, we need to see the characters move. Definitely.
Well, for sure. And I can't help but look at the character, and I see a lot of Wesley Snipes in him. So is he someone you would like to play, even if it is a case, like you said, maybe lending your voice to him in something animated? Or obviously Keith's got a history with video games, so maybe even taking him down like a video game route. Would you like to bring this guy to life?
Oh, I'm going to audition for all of them. I'm going to audition for all of the roles. Yeah, the various mediums, absolutely. That's the goal. And with the support of the fan base and health, wealth, and strength, we do some wonderful things. It'll be a great franchise.
Sure, yeah. And Keith, like I said, obviously having a history in video games, do you look at something like this, whereas Wesley might be thinking of film and TV, and you think, man, this would make an awesome computer game down the line, perhaps?
Yeah, for us, I always look at a story, what's the best way to tell the story to the audience, and whether that's a book, a comic book, a video game, a movie, I want what's best to tell that narrative and those characters. I always look to the game industry because that's where I've been for the past 25 years. But as my career is also moving into film and television, and I'm starting to direct now for the screen, I'm looking to sort of do what's best for these characters and story, and where that story takes us, we're going to have a fun journey. And it's amazing collaborating with Wesley and Adam, because we all have a very practical experience in production. We all know how to make films and television shows, and now, with games and graphic novels. For us, it's just our palette to start painting.
Absolutely. And Wesley, it's great to see, obviously, we're seeing more diversity in Hollywood. Anthony Mackie, for example, just became Captain America. Obviously, we've had Black Panther a few years ago. But when you have a Black lead in a property like this, is it important to you to obviously have that creative input to make sure it doesn't end up going down any cliched or maybe even offensive routes that we have seen in other properties over the years? And obviously, how important is it for you that you get a Black lead in a comic book? Because unfortunately, that's just not something we see enough of, I don't think.
I think there are a lot that are created. I know some incredible artists that have worked for the big boys, the big five, and the Disneys of the world, and have done some incredible independent work with a kaleidoscope of characters from the vast world that's out there. I don't think of it in that terms when we're creating. We're creating something that dynamic, exciting, that will appeal to a wide audience and has transcontinental appeal. Yeah, I think about it from that perspective, not so much from it has to have a Black character in it, or it has to have a Puerto Rican character and a Puerto Rican story. we put them in because that's organic and true to the world, right? But not for political reasons. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's an awesome thing to see, and so excited for people to check out this.
And with the goal of getting some more of the artists out there create characters that they can be cast in.
Well, absolutely. And I've got to ask while I have you, obviously it goes without saying the Blade movies have become iconic, and I feel like they paved the way for today's superhero movies in a way that not everyone always appreciates. So now you look back on that legacy, Wesley, what does it mean to you to have been part of that bit of superhero history and to be able to take that and obviously carry it on into a project like this one?
It's amazing. It was amazing. I mean, in the beginning, my motivation for doing the first Blade project was to have fun and to do something that I knew my homeboys and homegirls would absolutely love. The ones from the martial arts world, the ones from Shaft world, and the ones who like, Kung Fu and all that. I knew that would be attractive to that niche audience. Had no idea it would have broader appeal. However, it was a good lesson. It taught us what was possible. A lot of things that we had imagined, we didn't have the technical tools to do at that time, but we have them now. So it's a great. I'm giddy over the possibility of doing, the potential of doing some of the things that we have imagined with the tools that we have available with this particular project.
Absolutely. And just one final quick question for you both. If you could describe The Exiled in one word for fans, what would it be?
Wow, that's a good one. In one word.
Layered. Holy shit. Holy shit.
That's one word.
as my college professors would say.
I think that wins. Oh, well, awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for taking the time. As I said, this is such an exciting project. Really pleased to help you spread the word. And it's already been a hit. And I can't wait to see where it goes, both in comics and beyond. So thank you so much. Great to meet you, Keith. And Wesley, such a pleasure to be able to speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to the community. And we appreciate the support, and we'll return the favor.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.